Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, for you guys, is another podcast video with Recon Trooper.
Hey there, folks. Recon Trooper here, and if you're watching my version of this podcast, I hope you enjoy the rest of my Godzilla gameplay and some more Call of Duty gameplay in the background.
I don't know what I am filming. Probably Assassin's Creed Rogue. Who knows? Maybe Sekiro. We'll talk about it. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this podcast, make sure to leave a like to both my video and Recon's video. Obviously, you guys know the drill by now. I'm going to have a link for this down in the description down below. Make sure to go subscribe as well. It's free. Takes 1 second. Really helps both of us out. Anyway, without further ado, Recon, let us begin. What is your first topic here you want to speak about?
All right, my first topic. And speaking of drills, if you don't know the drill by now, people, go buy one. It's at the hardware store.
Yeah.
All right.
They work really great.
Pirates of the Caribbean. So I know you mentioned nobody else could see this because it was in our DMs. But you were saying you were doing a Pirates rewatch, and you were doing At World's End last time, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So did you watch the other two too yet?
Yeah, so as you guys know, I go to Disney World every year, and I was like, I read The Pirates Ride a bunch of times, and I said, I'm going to rewatch that when I get home. So I did, and yeah, so I finished all 5. Number 3, At World's End, is still my favorite. However, I gotta be honest, I do think 4 and 5 are good. I don't really think there's a bad one.
Yeah.
Dead Men Tell No Tales, the 5th one, that one's got some points of contention, which I'll kind of talk about, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like all 5, but
Yeah.
I think if I had to choose a least favorite, I might have to go with maybe On Stranger Tides, but I still think that's a good one. But what are your thoughts?
Well, what is it about On Stranger Tides? Does it seem just a little too simple for a Pirates movie? Because Blackbeard isn't some cursed boss that has to be killed in the end. He's just a normal guy that curses dead people, apparently, and makes them be his servants.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, I know. I mean, it's weird. It's because it is. Like, after you watch At World's End, which I stand by this, At World's End is one of the best, like, cinematic, like, climactic, end-of-trilogy-esque movies you can ever hope to see.
I know.
It's freaking phenomenal.
I can't stop humming the music from that one.
Especially
the battle.
Like, it's so good.
The battle music.
Oh, I know. It's incredible. The music's incredible. So is the film, but everything's incredible, and especially in that movie. But yeah, 4 is good. Like, you know, the acting's fine, CGI's fine, all that.
Oh yeah.
It's mainly 2 things. The first thing is that it feels, like you said, not as grand. It feels a lot smaller scale, which makes sense. It's kind of like a spin-off sequel. And we don't even see Will and Elizabeth because they're off doing their own thing. But the biggest reason is that it feels too clean. But I mean clean, I don't mean like PG-ified, like kiddified. I mean as in it visually looks clean. Like, you know, the first 3 movies, there's blood and there's water, and, you know, Davy Jones, like, stabs a guy and he rips it out and blood flies off the cutlass steel, and they're in the maelstrom and their hair's all dirty and they're all covered in crap, you know, cracking in Dead Man's chest. And then you get to 4 and 5 and it's like, oh, you know, there's a little bit in that, but it just feels... Especially when you get to 5, too, there's just a lot of CGI. And there's CGI in the first 3, but to me, those first 3 felt more real and like, gritty and dirty.
Well, yeah, I mean, On Stranger Tides, I mean, you also got to look at it like they were really, you know, the 2 and 3 especially were like 90% of the time was on ships the whole time.
Right, yeah,
and
that's true.
On Stranger Tides, they actually go to land 90% of the time instead, you know? Although I will say it's a kind of a bummer you don't get to see a ship battle in this 4th one, but I mean at the end, in the end, I mean, I still don't mind. I think Blackbeard, despite being not immortal, you know, like it's not so much about him trying to get rid of a curse or having to live with one or whatever. It's more trying to cheat fate, which is kind of a theme in all of the movies. And, you know, and then there's, of course, his daughter, you know, that she's one of those she's kind of very Christianly in the sense that she believes that every soul can be saved, including her dad's, even though we all see he's chosen his path and he has no intention of reversing course. Although how he even had Angelica to begin with, I couldn't say unless he was a good person at one point, and then when that happened.
No, see, but it's weird because there's moments where he's like, Jack Sparrow's like, she's not your daughter, and he's like, what are you talking about? So it's like, wait, is she his daughter? Is she not? Like, what's going on here? And yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point because Blackbeard he's a good, I don't think you can beat Davy Jones in these 5. I think he's the best, but I mean, Barbossa's good.
Shows Salazar more than the others. I mean, Barbossa is villain turned anti-hero, but the other 2, 3
turned hero.
Yeah, of the other ones though, Davy Jones shows up, but at the end they're not all that bad. But yeah, Jones is, they kind of had to do, I guess, 2 of them because you look at the movies and you realize they couldn't have just thrown him away in the second one again, just like the other guys.
True.
But
what I like most about On Stranger Tides is I like how at the end of At World's End, the 3rd movie, Jack is it's the end of the trilogy. Oh, is this the end of the franchise? What's going to happen next? Yeah. And then they show the map or whatever, and so it's cut out, and Jack's looking at the map, and it literally says Aqua de Vida, Fountain of Youth on it, perfectly setting up for the 4th movie, which is funny because I have the Blu-ray for At World's End, and the back of the Blu-ray literally says like the end of the Pirates trilogy. Like it sounds final. Like this is it, we're done.
Yeah,
and
it's just a trilogy.
I feel like they left the door open. It is, but normally when they say trilogy, it's like, oh, that's the end. But they just kept going, I guess. But I like that in 4 they decided to, in 4 they decided to follow up on that. It wasn't like a brand new thing or like a reboot. It's a straight up sequel. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just like the Indiana Jones, and actually it's even more connected than Indiana Jones because there's not much, and especially in the trilogy of Indiana Jones, there's not really much connective tissue because they kind of are a trilogy of standalones, really. It's not until the 4th one that you see the callbacks to the other ones, especially, of course, the first one with Marion. And
right.
And then, of course, the 5th one has also Sala in it, and so.
And they mentioned Temple of Doom, the blood of Kali or whatever. Yeah.
So, but like that's the thing about the Pirates. Even though those other 2 are standalones, they still actually reference what came before. And speaking of that, that's one of my favorite parts. Kind of small, but it's still one of my favorites in the 4th one is when Angelica asks Jack, maybe you don't believe in the supernatural, and Jack says, oh, no, I've seen a thing or 2. And every time I hear him say that, I think like, yeah, you have no idea what he's seen, Angelica. He's been to Davy Jones'
through the
locker, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
He's turned into a skeleton for a little bit. You have no idea.
He's turned into a skeleton for a minute.
Yeah, and I bet if he actually told her even a sliver of his experiences, she would kind of bite her tongue a little.
She wouldn't believe him. Yeah, she'd be like, "No, you didn't. You didn't do that. What do you? Come on."
Yeah, but whatever. But it's still one of my favorite lines. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but. Yeah, it's one of my favorite.
We got to talk about this movie.
Yeah, the first one. First one or 5th one?
Okay. Let's do the 5th one first, because that's the one that everyone kind of hates.
Wow. The 4th and 5th everyone hates, but who cares? Haters are haters these days.
I don't. You can't see me, but I'm waving my hand, guys. My hand's up.
Yeah. But...
So the big reason why this 5th film is hated, from what I can see online, I don't know anyone in person that hates it. Everyone that I know physically, as in a real human being, not on the internet, has loved it. But the people that apparently hate it online say that it's got really bad writing and that Jack Sparrow is out of character. He would never do that. He would never. And to my rebuttal. I'll have to see what you think, but that's just called a character arc. Like, that's storytelling.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, there's a reason why Jack acts different.
Well, for one thing, he's drunk in the beginning. That's why he's being all weird when he's in the bank there.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, look, that scene, I was trying to pay extra close attention. In the first 4 movies, Jack Sparrow sounds how he does. And then a lot of the times in the 5th movie, Dead Men Tell No Tales, he sounds like, I don't know if he's like, I mean, he's always drunk. I don't know if he's more drunk or if he's like, because, we all know that Johnny Depp had the whole Amber Heard thing, and he was kind of going through a lot personally. I don't know if he just forgot how to do the voice.
Well, I don't even know
like
that whole thing with Amber Heard wasn't until after the movie, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm assuming.
That was all like since 2020, at least as far as I'm aware, when that all was happening.
Okay.
That was released back in 2017, so.
Jeez, that long. But maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, like there's moments in the first 3, he's like, I don't know. I don't even know what he says in the first 4. He's like,
different at times, yeah. But I mean, he was still older. He was still older at the time, so.
True.
I don't mean
that's what
the
I chalk it up.
I mean the actor, because it was 6. First it was 3 years between the first and second, and then it was 1 year between the back-to-back ones, and then it was 4 years between the third and fourth one, and then it was 6 years between the 4th and 5th one. So,
jeez.
And then you take into account the actual age of the character, and I guess On Stranger Tides takes place like 15 years after 3, and then you take into account Henry is about 12 in the beginning of the 5th one. He's a little older, obviously, than at the end of 3 when we see him briefly. And then, of course, it says 9 years later. That's 21 years old. So you'd basically about 21 years approximately between At World's End and Dead Men Tell No Tales. Yeah, Jack Sparrow's good. Let me get
let me get my calculator. I got to check your math real quick here. Everyone pull out your calculator. Yeah. Do the math.
Well, apparently...
But it's not just Jack.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because apparently, in 5, Barbossa says, that Blackbeard shrunk the pearl 5 winters ago, and that would have been 5 years ago. And then, of course...
Good detail.
Well, I also looked this up a long time ago, back when I was obsessing about this again before, to get my mind off the MonsterVerse. And then, you take into account, so that was 5 winters ago, and Henry's about 21, so he's about 16, 5 years ago on Stranger Tides, and then about 3 years ago, 3 years before that is approximately when he's in the beginning of 5, and then of course, take 12 years off of that, because 2 years we wouldn't see him, and it's when he's 10 years approximately that we see him, when Will returns to land for the first time, and...
Right, yeah, it's true.
And so, it's just, I know the math is always confusing when you're trying to figure out timelines on these dumb things, but...
No, I mean, I like doing that stuff, though. I like piecing it together.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little weird, tricky, though, because sometimes actors will say something that apparently the movie themselves will say something else or something, because the guy that plays... the guy that plays Mark Russell in Godzilla vs. Kong and King of the Monsters, in one of his behind-the-scenes interviews, he says the film takes place 3 years after the last one, but it's actually 5 years after.
Oh, it's like the that Acolyte interview where the guy's like, oh yeah, Anakin Anakin blew up the Death Star. I'm like, it's Luke. It's like that. Yeah, sometimes they're wrong.
But, well, there could have been another Anakin.
That's just true.
Wait, no.
We don't know,
Star.
right?
That's the Death Star. Never mind. I mean, maybe there could have been another Death Star before this, like the pre-Death Star. Some weird...
It's true. Death Star Zero.
Yeah, some Anakin that we don't know about killed, but...
It was the Geonosians did it. But anyway, look, we got to go back to Pirates real quick, because I wanted to mention 2 more contingency things. Yeah. The second thing besides Jack being weird is the compass. So... in Dead Man's Chest, we go to, Jack goes to Tia Dalma's hut or whatever in the swamp of the bayou, and she mentions in like a really brief line that, the compass that you bought it from me. Yeah. So we're like, okay, it's now established that Jack got the compass from bartering with Tia Dalma in her hut. But then in the 5th film, obviously we see that, Jack gets the compass from the dead pirate captain. Now, Morgan. I don't consider that Morgan, right. I don't consider that a retcon, or to me, I don't, because the compass, I mean, as you know, and most of you listening know, the compass gets crazy lost all the time. It gets given away. However, the asterisk, I got to put an asterisk there. Stolen. The compass always has intent, right? The compass always has intent on coming back to Jack. Yeah. And obviously in the 5th, Jack's at his lowest. He gives it away with no intent. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you consider that to be a retcon, or do you consider, maybe he did get it from Morgan, but then he lost it and bartered it from Tia Dalma? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that could have been it too. I mean, who knows how many enemies he had in his past since he got the compass, and maybe, he came to Tia Dalma's hut at some point, because we don't really know their history all that much, and saw the compass and remembered it be, he knows it's exactly the one that maybe got stolen, or I don't know if he would really lose the compass, because I don't think he's that forgetful, and he always has it on his side.
I don't know.
So, but
true.
It's either taken from him or he gives it to somebody temporarily, like Will or Elizabeth. But
true.
He never. So he might have recognized it, and then Tia Dalma, of course, had Tia Dalma demanded payment. I can't do her accent, but.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, but so that's just what I think about it. Just that he bartered it from
works.
her, because when maybe she found it from the guy that stole it, maybe he gave it to her for some reason, or maybe she found his dead body and found the compass next to it and realized it was quite a special compass, and. So that's just how
that could work. Yeah, I mean, that's all viable. And then the third one is regarding Will. So in the Pirates trilogy, I think it's in 3 maybe. They mentioned that the reason why Davy Jones has this jacked up tentacle face is because his job was to ferry souls to the other side from people who died in sea. He didn't do that, and that's why he got all effed up looking. In Pirates 5, Pirates, the end of Pirates 3 in the end credits scene, we see Will come up after 10 years or whatever, and he looks fine. And then in the 5th film, it's, I think maybe that's 2 years or so after 3. I'm not really sure. He's not that much older than the post-credit scene in 3. Will shows up, and he's got some barnacles and crap on his face, and people were freaking out online, and they're like, oh my god, this is a retcon, because, why would Will have that if he's still doing his duty? I think that's just because he's been underwater for 10 friggin' years. But, I mean, that's just me, What are your thoughts on that? Do you know of an official canon reason why Will has barnacles on his face? If he's actually doing his job, or maybe he's not doing his job? I don't really know. Well, maybe he's, given up on life.
He might have not been doing the job. He might have stopped, and it's not because, he was a heartless wretch. But, no, I think it's more just because maybe the job was getting too hard for him at some point, and
could be.
or
I couldn't do it.
Or after seeing his son for the first time, maybe he maybe wanted to be nearby his son more than he cared about the other souls. Who cares about them? And wanted to keep him safe.
Right. That's my theory.
Or something, but So, but yeah, I don't.
I mean, that's my theory too. Is that,
or maybe
because when you see him in the third movie, he looks fine, and I think after he goes to that third movie, once he sees his son and Elizabeth again, he goes, back in the water. I think that's the point where he was like, all right, I'm screw this. Like, my son's alive, he's thriving, he's doing well with his mom. I'm not going to do my job no more. And that's when it goes to heck. That's when it really messes up. That's my.
Could be, but I don't mind it personally. I mean, it was needed for the movie's story to work, because
right,
Henry needs that motivation to find this trident to free his dad, and so yeah, but yeah, I don't really personally care. I mean, it's also, maybe it's just because the Dutchman itself is a cursed ship, regardless of how good you do the job.
That could be. Yeah, that's a good point.
He's like, good, now that you've been on land for the first year, I'm gonna screw you up now. You stupid, stupid captain of mine. You think this is gonna be just without any cost?
Yeah, the ship has a mind of its own. Get wrecked, brother.
Yeah, but
speaking of pirates, let's move on to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. You mentioned before recording something about it. I love it. I think it's a great game. I had it on 360, and I beat it on 360, and I rebought it on my Xbox One, playing it on my Series X. I took a break because I'm actually working on AC Rogue now. I'm almost done with Rogue.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think Black Flag is the best pirate game that could be made, at least right now. Ubisoft is also apparently like remaking it, apparently, like modern consoles. But what are your thoughts on it? Yo ho.
Headaches, frustration,
okay,
rage.
Okay. 3 words that
give Ubisoft a wedgie.
Yeah, okay. Now, why is wedgie being taken place?
Well, first of all, I know Valhalla came after it, but I played it before it, and so the fighting is completely out of whack in that game, because I don't even know if it's entirely the combat or if it's how they program the controls, because they're not always the most responsive things, especially when it comes to countering or trying to disarm somebody, or what is it called, break defense, especially when it comes to those big brute guys. And I think there's no upgrades, really. Like, there's like, there are upgrades, but I'm thinking more like, Valhalla's skill
like
tree,
RPG stuff. Yeah.
So that you can actually, get stronger, and not, like, basically all you do is upgrade your health and your storage for ammo,
like your gun holster.
Yeah. You don't.
Right. I mean, you can upgrade your ship.
You don't upgrade damage or anything, though, to your guy, and as such,
that's true.
The swords are always doing the same damage to the same guys. You don't just 1-2 them unless you counter them, and even sometimes countering.
Yeah, the combat
doesn't always want to work right.
I don't mind the combat. I feel the combat in, like, AC 3, 4, and Rogue have the same combat style. And I like it because it feels cinematic, but I mean it's like brain dead combat. Like, Valhalla isn't the hardest thing in the world, but I mean, really all you got to do in most cases is on Xbox is tap B to counter and tap X to insta kill. I mean, there's a few cases where you have to do a little more, but I mean it's kind of brain dead, but it looks cool, right? I mean, when you do it right.
Yeah, it's cool. And then of course there's also, speaking of that too, there's the controls that, they're so out of whack. And like I said, I know it came before Valhalla. If I had played it before Valhalla, I probably wouldn't be thinking that, but I didn't. So, So when I'm trying to attack, with the bumper or the trigger, it's not attacking. I forget what the bumper does. But the trigger is used for sprinting, I guess, instead of clicking the thumbstick. And there's no oh yeah.
Well, the aiming's the same.
Yeah. I forget what the bumper does. I can't remember what it does. I think it's
Isn't it like bring up your weapon wheel, I think? Or like your tools. It does something.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it doesn't do the same thing as in Valhalla, because in Valhalla it's the attack button and the trigger is the heavy button, or if you hold it down, it brings up a bunch of special attacks or abilities you can do, which also is not in the game. You're kind of stuck doing the same thing the whole time. No, no shooting like maybe an explosive bullet, or using maybe temporarily giving your swords kind of like maybe pouring like oil or something on them to give them a fire effect for a brief time, just to increase the bloody damage. Because
that'd be cool. Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, you can tell it's a 2013 game. You can tell when you play it, but
I don't know.
Tell.
I mean, I just thought it was for me simple Assassin's Creed like Valhalla was, but then I got put in check badly. So
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, because for the people that didn't know, like you get like Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations. Those 4 have different attack buttons and sprinting buttons and camera angles and all that compared to the Edward Kenway stuff, and then in 3 and Rogue. And then you get to like Syndicate,
the
one in London. That's different. And then you get the new RPG stuff in Mirage. I mean, there's like
is Valhalla like when you play only of its kind?
In terms of controls?
Well, controls, stuff, whatever. Is it the only one of its kind that has only
so with Valhalla, in terms of... No, actually. I mean, in terms of like the genre that they're hitting, I mean, AC Origins, the one in Egypt, Odyssey is in Greece, and then Mirage is in 9th century Baghdad. Those 4 games, Valhalla included, those 4 games all have the same controls.
Okay.
And same everything.
Okay. And abilities and everything too?
Skill trees galore.
Odin Sight, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, in AC Origins, the one in Egypt, Bayek is his name, and Bayek's got there's a big level up tree, and I think his bird's name is like Senu or Senu.
Oh yeah.
It's essentially the same thing. I mean, Odyssey runs a little wonky on my console, but Valhalla and Origins are my go-to for the new RPG stuff.
Yeah.
Mirage is obviously the newest one before Shadows coming out, but Mirage is the same thing. It's got the same controls. It's not as big as Valhalla, nowhere near.
No.
But it's definitely.
I mean,
if you're clinging on to Valhalla controls, I would get Origins and Mirage.
Yeah, well, I only got Black Flag because of the pirate stuff. Really, I wasn't thinking about controls or anything, and of course, like I said, I got put in check once I started playing it. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with these darn controls?
Yeah, right.
Where's my sprint?
How far are you in the game?
Oh,
like how many hours roughly?
Oh, I don't know how many hours, but I'm at the part where after you escape after you've been marooned on that island with that crazy guy, or the guy that goes crazy and tries to kill you, and it's called Isla Providencia or something. And
did you make it to Havana?
Havana, yeah, I think so.
Okay, met that weird Barney or Barnabas guy?
Might have. I don't completely remember how it went. I just know I think I finished. It was sequence 8. I finished.
Oh, okay. So you're a little in there, yeah. Okay.
And then
I mean, I would, like I said, I would just
yesterday and the day before I didn't play all day yesterday, but I did want to get the darn legendary ships taken care of, and
okay.
That's another thing. They make those darn things so overpowered.
That they do.
And the players' upgrades do squat almost all the time. Especially,
that's a good point.
Especially when you have the one encounter with the 2 ships coming at you at once.
Yeah, there's a little bit of grinding when it comes to upgrading your ship. I mean, if you really want, like, I absolutely hate that they have a microtransaction store. I think that's total BS. But, I mean...
Well, I didn't... That's not my gift. It's just the upgrades, like maybe they help, but they still weren't up to what I was expecting. I was hoping I'd have a little more damage or damage resistance, but when it comes to the 2 ships, because they're always trying to get you between them so they can fire towards each other and hit you, at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And, and that's another thing. No rations or anything to heal yourself. You have to get out of combat entirely just to heal.
I think they have rations, right? Don't you hit up on the D-pad?
Not that I know of. I always have to, at the very least, the thing that turns red when you're fighting enemies has to be, I think, yellow. But no, there's no rations, which is why I die on boarding ships sometimes, too, because, I get, especially when guys are hitting you at every angle and you're trying to counter one guy or attack another, and then another guy just randomly hits you, and it's really, really annoying. But personally,
my advice would just be to
the ship combat, but all on it as a whole though isn't all that bad. I don't think it's just. I wish.
No, I think mechanically it's fine.
Yeah, I just wish that the damage would be a little better especially once you have it, upgraded, because you fight those darn legendary ships and you kind of wonder, especially the mortars, they're supposed to be really useful, and they almost all the time only dinged the legendaries.
Well, to be honest, the legendary ships are something that you fight at that's endgame shit. Like, that's not something you'd take on in Sequence 8, for sure. I couldn't even do that until the very end.
My ship was finished. That's what I was just waiting to get my ship finished, and that was it. And then I was going to tackle them, get them out of the way, so that if I ever venture off into that area, one of those areas in the future, that I'm not automatically triggering the sequence or encounter.
Okay, that makes sense.
I kind of wanted to just get them out of the way, and I knew full well going in what was gonna happen. I was gonna not enjoy myself doing it, and especially with the 2
at least you knew.
Yeah. But they're done now. I finished the last. I tried to go from hardest to easiest. So, but the 2 ships definitely I should have done at least second instead of third, because they're very hard. Trying to kill those 2.
Yeah, no, they are. They're no joke. I don't know. My advice would just be to stick with it. I mean, I know it's different than Valhalla, but I mean, once you get used to it, it does.
I'm not done. I think there's like 10 sequences or something.
Okay. So I don't even remember it.
Yeah. I'll know when.
Maybe 12.
I'll know when I know, I guess. But
yeah.
But
speaking of games, though, in between podcasts, I wanted to ask you about this, because I've been playing From Software games like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, and I recently started Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is a game in feudal Japan. It plays this guy called the Wolf. Yeah. And if you look on Reddit posts and online, people like unanimously and synonymously say that Sekiro
Yeah.
is the hardest From Software game ever. Sekiro is one of the most difficult games ever made, apparently.
Yeah.
And it took me two-ish hours to kill a boss today. And I tell you what, guys, look, I am a calm dude. I'm going to be a teacher, so yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. I need to, you know, I'm going to be a teacher, so I'm a patient guy. But at the same time, like, my patience runs thin eventually, and when it runs thin, I get mad, and then bad words are said. I didn't break the controller, thankfully, but it like I said, it took me 2.5 hours to kill a boss, and it was crazy hard. But the game's beautiful. It's very well made. I love it, but it's very, very difficult. I mean, you got to get good. So what are your thoughts on game difficulty? And have you ever thought about playing like an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls? Like, have you ever ventured into that genre?
I think I saw some brief gameplay in one of our previous podcasts on your version, but so I've kind of been slightly thinking trying it, but at the same time I don't, for one thing, I need storage space. I need like an external hard drive or something, and also I get frustrated enough as it is on other games, right? Assassin's Creed, that I don't need to take myself to the next level to get mad.
Right. No, I mean, they're definitely not games for everyone. Elden Ring is, I mean, I haven't played them all, but Elden Ring is definitely the most accessible for anyone. Because like Sekiro and Dark Souls, those are open world-ish in quotation marks. They're big, but Elden Ring is like a true, real open world. It's friggin' massive. And the good thing about Elden Ring is, if you're in a dungeon or a castle, for example, and you can't kill a boss and you're just stuck and you're beating your head against a wall, metaphorically, don't do that in real life. You can always leave, get stronger, and then come back, which is nice. You can't really do that in many Dark Souls games. So if you obviously if you've seen reviews for Elden Ring, like everyone loves it. Yeah. And yeah, I mean it's a masterpiece of a game, but it's very difficult. But the good thing is that you can explore and get stronger. So I mean, if you want to start with one of them, I would start with Elden Ring. Yeah. Once you get more space, it's an experience.
Yeah. Maybe someday, possibly. I mean, gaming isn't really something I'm obsessed with much anymore. I mean, I haven't been really. I mean, Lego Star Wars was the last really desperate game I was after. But personally, I just don't. I'm not like crazy into gaming anymore, like for new games and stuff. I just Black Flag mainly was the pirate thing, but also I was just kind of getting bored of, because I was playing Dead Island 2 for quite a while, and I finally just decided to play something else, and I wanted to play Valhalla again, and then I thought, well, you know what? Black Flag apparently has ship combat like pirates, so maybe I should try that, and I did, and needless to say, I don't swear as much as I used to, like maybe a decade ago, but I definitely still get blood boiling at times. Especially legendary ships, like I was saying yesterday. I spent maybe 3 hours just trying to kill those 2 ships.
No, I know.
Those twin ships that you have to try to lower their health as best you can at the same time, so that when you kill one and the other one goes berserk, you don't have to do it. And finally, I killed that last one using the barrels because it was coming up behind me, and I just kept dropping barrels like crazy, and I finally got him.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I can sleep. Yeah.
Well,
no, I mean that was me with.
So I had already slept, but.
No, thank God. Yeah, that was me with Sekiro today. The boss is called Genchiro, I think.
Yeah.
And look, like I said, I don't swear. Like, I don't really.
Well,
in a video to be funny.
Tell that to YouTube. I hear you swear quite a few times.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah.
It's fucking funny. But no, yeah, like what I do is nothing. It's funny because like when I play games, I don't get that mad, but like I'm glad I didn't film it. Okay, let me just say that because if I was filming this boss fight, I swear it would get an NC-17.
Yeah.
But I finally, so don't worry.
But yeah, but I do think that the naval combat for the most part is good, especially once you do have your ship upgraded, because even though the legendaries are hard, you know, all the other ones you can kind of Flying Dutchman to death.
Yeah, they're doable.
Yeah. And I've been working on getting some level 60 mana wars added to my fleet, so I have max wanted level, so that every time those hunters show up, there's always a level 60 mana war that shows up, so I can snag it if I can. I mean, sometimes for some reason the crew is more powerful than I am, even though, I mean, part of the reason again is because I get surrounded a lot, and so when I'm trying to attack one or two other guys will hit me at the same time and disrupted, and of course there's no health bars. That's another thing. There's no health bars, so you don't know how much bloody damage you're doing, how much damage you have left to do, you know, as opposed to you, where your health bar goes down like by the quarter every time you get hit, especially by the darn brutes.
Yeah,
those brutes are annoying as heck, but then pair them with, you know, anybody with a gun, and you're asking to die without wanting to. So
yeah, you know how many times I've died to some moron reloading a musket?
Yeah, well,
like that takes a friggin' age to reload a musket, and then I'm here reloading my dinky little pistol, getting shot in the face like a moron.
Yeah, well. But anyway, I've gotten. I don't have every location discovered yet. I think there's a couple more that are hidden, and I can only get to them once the story lets me. But there's one place that actually isn't even on the map yet, and I have to continue for it to just appear. And then there's another place that's just out of, you know, off limits right now, and. So, but I did make sure to get everything from every location. Like That's
what I'm doing now with Rogue.
I still have that mindset to get everything that I can get, you know, and
yeah.
So I have all those fragment things found so far, except for places I can't go to right now, and I've gotten all the underwater sections done. And oh yeah, another thing.
Oh, those are a pain.
Yeah, nothing to fight sharks with. And
no, just stealthy.
I did drown one time because, well, between getting attacked and again, health, you can't regenerate health or anything unless you're out of combat, and even underwater it doesn't for some reason. And
or what if you go under like that big bell underwater? Does that heal you?
Well, if you
or does that just shield you?
I think if you stay there long enough, you get healed. I think every time you take a breath, you heal, but when you're underwater, you know, forget it. And you know, the sharks are just, you don't have anything to defend yourself with. And there's also a couple of smugglers' dens that you have to actually go underwater to get into, and as such, you don't have any weapons on you when you have to fight the morons in the cave. You have to actually kill them somehow, kill one guy anyway, and take his weapon. So, and there's
it's like a Three Stooges episode. Like
there's 2 assassinations that require you to go to 2 of those places, and you don't have any weapons, not even your blades. So you basically another frustrating moment, getting killed so many times just trying to kill this one guy. And he's got, you know, like 10 other guys, including, of course, some heavy bruiser guys. And, you know...
Those are the worst, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, I got them done. I got all the Uncharted things. I made sure to do that, too, to just sweep the whole ocean. just to get all the Uncharted stuff out of the way. So everything is basically gold except for the places I haven't gotten to yet. So.
Okay. Well, you're doing better than me because, like I said, I'm working on Rogue right now, and Rogue is it's essentially a sequel to Black Flag, but a prequel to Unity. And you actually play as a Templar. You play as a bad guy, and I finished the story.
Weapons, though, as a result, because getting all the contracts done, both assassination and the naval contracts, I got pistol swords, and he basically shoots a guy executioner style sometimes at the end of a combo. And then I got these other pistols called golden pistols, and I think they just do high damage. And so I got those. Not that they really matter because, again, there's no health bars. So how do you know if they actually do more damage or not?
Right. I guess they just die quicker.
Yeah, but yeah, and so anyway, and I got the Templar outfit found and unlocked, and I got all the all the things that require you to craft, like all those outfits. You know, there's the Whaler and the some other one, and then there's Hunter, and the Hunter one is kind of like the last one apparently, because that's the only one I got an achievement for. So.
Okay. Do you have the Ubisoft Connect account?
No.
Okay. Because if it's free,
why would I want to give them make an account?
That's true.
With them, so.
That's true. It's free, but if you do that, you get like exclusive suits. Like you can use Altair suit, Ezio, Connor, all that, which is cool.
There is one suit I was using before the Templar, because the Templar one apparently does increase your damage resistance a little once you have it.
Oh, okay.
But there was one suit that looked a lot like the whatever the guy's name is from the first three. It's kind of like
a or Connor.
Could be, but it's basically just this large, like, white robe with a red belt on it.
That's Ezio, yeah. That's he's from Assassin's Creed 2 and a few others.
Yeah, so I have an outfit like that, and he's got, like, I don't know if they're knives or if they're darts or whatever on his shoulder.
Okay.
They're kind of just these.
I mean, hey, it looks cool, right?
Yeah. So, but I was using that, but yeah, I don't know actually if I haven't seen anything for outfits otherwise. I haven't seen it. There are weapons that I can't get because I don't know what a dumb community challenge is.
Oh yeah, I know.
So I don't
like those either.
Who cares? I got my golden pistols, so forget about it.
Yeah, once you get that, you're kind of good, right?
Yeah. So.
Pretty much.
But anyway, yeah. So on to our next top. Oh, actually, speaking of Dark Souls, just quickly, was it Dark Souls, Elden Ring, whatever? Did you play the new DLC?
Oh, geez. So yeah.
Shadow of Tyre
in order
or
to
something.
Erdtree, close.
Okay, whatever.
The Shadow of Tyree Gibson, yeah. In order to access the DLC, you have to beat a certain boss, or you have to beat two bosses.
They're optional, but you have to beat them.
Right? Yeah, they're optional, but you have to do it. That's funny, but yeah. So I killed the two bosses. It's I believe $40 for the DLC. Yeah. It's basically Elden Ring 1.5. It's basically a new game.
Okay.
I haven't bought it. I haven't tried it yet. I need to buy it. I finished my summer camp job, and the money still hasn't gotten to me yet. So once I get paid, I'm gonna buy it, and just waiting on the stupid guys to give me my money. Yeah. But once we do that, it'll be good as gold. I've just been binging Sekiro. I mean, that's not as big as Elden Ring, but so once I have the money for it, I'm definitely gonna get it. But I heard that Shadow of the Erdtree Shadow of Tyree. It's very difficult. Oh, okay. Like, even more difficult than Elden Ring. So, that's fun.
Well, I wonder if it'll be similar to how Dawn of Ragnarok was for Valhalla, because it really feels like it feels like the same game, but it feels also like a completely new game because there's more things to it. Like there's a new like ability thing you get on your wrist that allows you to like become immune to lava and be able to turn into a raven and fly temporarily. And then of course there's also it's also a completely new open world, and there's different enemies. Like there's Jotuns, frost giants, and they look
the blue guys.
Yeah, they look kind of similar to. Well, I'm sure you've seen them, because there is one bit in it that I think in the main game you actually do fight Jotuns, and then there's also these lava.
I thought you said Yoda.
Yeah, well, no, Jotuns from Jotunheim.
Okay.
Hey, they say it in the game too, so it's not me.
Okay, I'll pay.
So, but
I'll pay attention.
Yeah, but if when you do get it and you've tried it and everything, you should let me know what it's like. Just even if I don't care about it, just can tell.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated for sure.
Yeah. Like if it's got like a new open world to it, and what any new bosses are like, if they're even more blood boiling than the main game's bosses or whatever.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've heard that it's a new open world. It's about the size, a little bigger than Limgrave, which is an area in the base game. There's about 100 new bosses, 100 new weapons.
Oh, 100
I think 20 some new bosses.
You're in for a treat.
I know, great, yeah. A lot more cursing. 100 weapons, about 20 bosses, and some new elements to healing. So, I mean, it really is. It's like, I think the open world is bigger than the Valhalla Ragnarok one, from what I've heard.
Well,
I haven't played
that
Ragnarok
as an example. I'm not comparing them size-wise. Just kind of like Valhalla feels kind of like a new game in the same game at the same time.
Right.
That's all I was saying. But obviously it's bigger because it's newer than Valhalla. Duh. But
yeah, I do. I want to get the Valhalla DLC though. I mean, I got to do that one time too because Valhalla's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's if you can stomach some more frustration. I mean, if you can ever get divine armor, like a full set of 5 pieces, and upgrade it to divine or whatever. Or if you get it and then you buy some armor that maybe you don't have yet from the store, it'll automatically become divine. And if you equip all 5 pieces of that belong together, you basically survive fall damage in the open world. Like in the new one. Obviously in the base game you still die, but in the new one, if you jump off, like there's these floating rocks called monoliths, and you have to fly up to get to them. There's treasures up on top of each of them, and you can basically jump off of them, and they're very, very high. Like Denethor jumping off of the beacon of Minas Tirith, not the thing he actually falls off, but the beacon, which is up higher.
Oh.
Basically, Denethor jumping off of there all the way to the ground high is how high some of them are. And as long as you have divine armor, you don't die when you hit the ground.
That's good.
It's just really fun. Kind of it. At the same time, though, it might give you a slight weird feeling watching your guy falling this whole time. It's like, oh man,
and he's fine.
If I did this is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah,
I would not recommend jumping off of the cliff.
It's pretty good otherwise, though, and so. But
that's cool.
Yeah. So on to Star Wars next. This will
probably be our last topic, but
yeah, I mean, we've got some more we can talk about. And hey, I haven't brought up the movie that I always bring up, so we're making progress for a change. So I was well, this will just be a general Star Wars thing, like, you know, because I was on Facebook a few days ago, and I saw there was this one. Sometimes they post these things on Facebook where they show like a picture of all 3 trilogies or something from all 3 trilogies, and they had a picture of Anakin, Luke, and Rey next to them, like in one picture. And in the comment section, sometimes you'll see a lot. Well, every time, not all the comments, but all the comment sections, you'll see somebody taking the same picture and just trying to erase all the anything sequel related, and say,
yeah, that's on Twitter too.
And then saying fixed it. Now that's better, and blah blah blah. So, but yeah, I wish I had your mode of thinking when it comes to, because I like Star Wars, but I can't ever put it into like logical terms like you can sometimes, especially when the sequels are concerned. But I kind of wish I could, because some of those, I mean, some people don't listen to logic. Their logic is their own stupidity, I guess. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Some people, you can tell them the sky is blue and they'll say it's purple, and you can't convince them, you know?
Yeah. Or your head is on the right way, and they'll say, but it's still sideways. So
right. But you know what's funny to me is that you bringing up those Facebook posts, that's actually really freaking funny, because literally the exact same thing, I've run into it countless times, the exact same thing is on Twitter, or sorry, X, or whatever you want to call it now. Yeah. It's identical. I mean, it's crazy. Maybe it's the same guy. I don't know. I mean, it's really, that's kind of weird.
No, I don't. It's not the same. Well, unless he makes multiple accounts, but no, because I've even in the past, I don't do this now, but in the past, I've actually taken the picture and then posted it under somebody's fixed post, and then said, "What'd you fix?" You know, like
yeah.
Say again. What did you fix? Because I don't see anything fixed here. Because what needs fixing?
Yeah.
Your head? But
yeah, that damn straight.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of like Echo, and if you're listening, Echo, you know this. I'm kind of like Echo when it comes to Star Wars. Well, maybe less so. He might be into the Disney Plus stuff. I'm not getting Disney Plus ever. I'm gonna stick to my physical media, not go on to some stupid site for exclusive stuff that should be released anyway, like Obi-Wan was.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm equal. I don't have a favorite, like trilogy or movie, I guess. I mean, maybe back in the day, Episode 3 was my favorite, just because of all the action in it. Because that's one thing That's one thing I am very much about, is the action, and you know, it's the most action-packed, I would say, even out of every one of them, because it's literally literally even more than the sequel trilogy. Anything in the sequel trilogy, it's like action piece, then 3 minutes of boring Anakin and Padme, and then action piece again, and then like until you get to the second half when Anakin's all dark, and then you get only one more boring scene with them when he leaves for Mustafar. Because I'm not saying I'm not saying the one on Mustafar is boring, because it's actually really emotional. Like, you know, like Padme is lost the person she thought she loved, and
you're breaking my heart.
Yeah, and I mean, you gotta. As I know you don't like her acting in the prequels, but you gotta admit, at least in that scene, you can kind of feel the same as she does. Because I mean, it's sad, you know, like this good person that she's known all her life, we'd think, all of a sudden is not
crazy.
Yeah, is not him anymore.
I know. I think she was given a poor script, but I think in that scene she did the best of a bad situation. I think she's good, and I think her best movie is Revenge of the Sith.
She wasn't straight-faced looking at Anakin being like, Anakin, you're breaking my heart. Like,
yeah,
you're going down a path.
Unlike episode 1.
Yeah, she's actually crying and stuff.
She's emoting like a human being.
Yeah,
crazy.
I guess they got tired of the mannequin Padme.
Yeah, Mannequin Skywalker.
Yeah, Mannequin Skywalker, who doesn't emote anything, But
although I think, look, regarding Hayden's acting in the prequels, I'll say this: he's not that great in 2, but I don't know if he took like acting lessons in between 2 and 3, because it's a 3-year difference in real life.
Well, he was like really young when he was cast in episode 2, so he might have. I don't know.
Well, so was Luke. I mean, Luke was good in the originals.
I don't know if he ever had experience. Maybe it was something he took in college or something, but I don't know if he
could be. Yeah.
I don't know if he was in anything before episode 2, like not even a television show. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
I'm not sure. I know.
It's his first time, then cut him some slack, okay? Episode 2 hater.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I mean, I think he's fine for the most part, but it does help regarding like me believing Padme's reaction and Anakin's turn, me actually, giving that some validity.
Yeah.
If you watch episode 1 and then you watch episode 2 and then you watch all 7 seasons of the Clone Wars and then episode 3, I swear to God, it hits you like a friggin' freight train. It hits you much more with all those 7 seasons of actually great writing and like phenomenal voice acting and all that. Like, it really does. If you watch that show and then watch episode 3, you're like, oh dang, like this, it hits you a lot more.
Well,
as opposed to just watching.
I don't know about phenomenal voice acting, because Anakin doesn't sound anything like Hayden in the Clone Wars. I know how biased you are about
but you know what?
Not sounding the same,
I know. Honestly, though, it's funny. Whenever I hear Hayden talk as Anakin, I'm like, it's not right. Where's Matt Latner from the Clone Wars? I don't know. I just think it's weird. Like, when I think of Anakin, I don't think of Hayden. I think of Matt.
Yeah, well, I always picture Hayden. That's I think.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, he's the guy in the movies.
Yeah, and in Obi-Wan. And speaking of that one too, I don't really know what everybody's problem with Obi-Wan was. Do you have any idea?
No, I don't either.
Because I mean,
I know that
the first maybe couple of episodes are kind of boring. I could say maybe, because you see Obi-Wan take his lightsaber or hold it, but you don't see him use it until that first failed duel with Vader.
True, yeah.
So
I think a lot of people's issues is just the fact that, before this show, Obi-Wan took a vow to stay on Tatooine and not leave and watch over Luke. That was his whole prerogative. And then in this show, he's like, oh, I gotta go to rescue Leia. And people were freaking out. They're like, he can't. They're breaking the lore. They didn't, obviously. But it's really funny that I don't know. I like the fact that he had to leave because, in the show, they literally say Obi-Wan's like, I have to stay here and watch over Luke. And Bail Organa's like, no, Leia's his friggin' sister, and she matters just as much as him. They're both, force sensitive. They both matter. Yeah. And I like the fact that he had to leave. And by the end of the show, he does return.
Yeah.
It's not like he doesn't return. You know what I mean? So it still lines up.
I guess it also, I mean, we don't really know their history before episode 4, before Obi-Wan came out, but now you see there was kind of a relationship between him and Leia, and so maybe when she's going to see him, she knows him by Obi-Wan, not Ben, I don't think.
Well, no, I mean, that's what's really cool is that in episode 4, when Luke rescues Leia in the Death Star, he goes, oh, Ben Kenobi, and she springs out, and she's like, Ben Kenobi, like, oh my God, and it's crazy because in the Obi-Wan show, that's how he introduced her. I mean, I just think that's really a really great detail.
Yeah, and so, and
like this show is proof that little Leia knew him.
Yeah, And Luke kind of...
That's why she reached out to him.
Luke kind of knows him at the end, I guess, but they don't obviously show much interaction in that regard, but at least they...
And he got to save...
Huh?
Go ahead.
He got to save what?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was also thinking, I think one thing I was seeing on Facebook at the time was apparently people were hating the new Inquisitor girl, but
oh yeah, Reva.
I don't see a big problem. I mean, was it because she's black? Or was it because she's a woman?
I think...
Or was it because
that was...
she's portrayed as an evil person, but her evilness kind of sucked because she doesn't seem to really kill anybody, and by the end she comes back to being just a broken person because, she failed to protect her youngling, friends, and she failed to stop Vader the second time when, she had the chance. Well, she wouldn't have stood a chance anyway, but she at least tried this time. And then the third time, she just kind of was about to kill Luke, but chose not to, and now she's not certain what to do anymore, She would be a good one to explore more.
No, I mean, there's definitely room for her to continue on in the lore for sure, but I think, look, when it comes to the internet, a lot of people think that white people are the enemy now for some reason, but no one's the enemy, obviously. Regardless, you could be green and you're not the enemy. But, when you go on, especially Twitter or Reddit, if you have a woman and then you make a black woman, for some reason, that is like blasphemy and the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I think 99% of the hate for this character and the actress who played her wasn't her performance. It wasn't her writing. It was just because she was a black chick. That's the only reason. And that's obviously not good, not normal.
Yeah.
I think, she's not the best actor in the world in Star Wars even, but I think she did a good job. And I think I would be interested to see, where she goes next. I want to see what happens to her. I think she was well written.
Yeah, because she's obviously alive and, at the end. So maybe she tries to rediscover her Jedi side in the future if they ever did something like, she maybe has to make a new lightsaber that, and it'd be a good way to bring Ilum pre Starkiller Base into the live action. And
that'd be cool,
maybe has to go there to get a new crystal for her lightsaber that just needs that crystal, and then she'll have it complete or something. And then...
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. Although, I don't think I would want... I don't know about you, but I don't think I want... As much as I love Obi-Wan Kenobi, that show, I don't think I want a season 2. No. I think it perfectly ended there, and then you just go from that to A New Hope. But,
well,
I would want to
and then
Book of Boba Fett season 2. Right, yeah. That's true.
There is
I think
little showdown where he one-slashes Maul to death, and it's just a standoff, and
yeah.
I think there was supposed to be a fight that people were expecting, but it ended up just being and he's dead.
Yeah, which I think is really great. I think it's really good storytelling because Maul, spoilers, but Maul attacked Obi-Wan the same way he attacked Qui-Gon, out of rage, and Obi-Wan sensed that and adapted. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it. I just saw that little bit on the YouTube, but yeah.
Okay.
Obviously,
well, hey, the whole show's on DVD.
Yeah, obviously by then he's got his Force abilities back, so they kind of had to at least end with Obi-Wan being more back to his Jedi self again.
True.
So, yeah, it was. But yeah, I don't think a season 2 would be really needed unless this time he stays on Tatooine the whole time. And I mean,
yeah, but would that be interesting?
Well, there's lots of Tatooine we've never seen because it's a planet, not just two little cities.
True.
That we only see ever, and the desert. But because let's see, what cities are there? There's Mos Espa, Mos Eisley, and Anchorhead, unless that's part of Mos Eisley.
There's Mos Pelgo, which is called Freetown now. That's in the Book of Boba Fett. That's a new city added.
Yeah. So, like there could be, maybe there's some place on the Tatooine that could just take us to, I mean, I know that probably would be boring for some people, like, at least Obi-Wan went places in the first season. Now he's just stuck on Tatooine the whole time,
Yeah, imagine like 8 episodes of him just sitting in his hut.
Yeah.
But hey,
whatever.
At least now we have 3 versions of the hello there. We have 3 versions of it.
Yeah. Yeah, there was... I can't remember. He said it just before or after. Oh, no. He said it when he met Luke, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to... Because I think he said it... I can't remember if he said it to Vader before or anything at all. No, it wasn't saying...
No, he said it to Grievous.
No, he was doing the pose to Vader. That's what I remember.
Yeah. He said it in episode 3 to Grievous, and then Obi-Wan to Luke, and then Obi-Wan, and then to Luke again in A New Hope.
Well, R2.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, right.
And that's something I don't know what people always do the Grievous thing as a meme, but sometimes when somebody, if somebody on here said hello there, I would just be like beep boop beep beep, because that's R2's
exactly.
response. Nobody considers R2 when they do that. They only think of Grievous, and so
yeah,
it's like beep, nice to meet you, beep.
Yeah, exactly. Although R2D2 is kind of a cursor, so there'd be an expletive in there somewhere.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. What's your language?
Oh, well, I'm sure. Well, 3PO is also very sensitive, so something that might be a curse to him may not actually be to us. So.
Yeah, he's a bit of a snowflake.
Yeah. I beg your pardon.
What do you do? Yeah, he punches him. Yeah.
But so, yeah, I think the hate period is overblown. I mean, I will, like I said, I'm not a Disney Plus person, but what I have stuff I have seen, I do enjoy, and that's including the sequels. And
yeah, I mean,
as long as they don't jack up the new Jedi Order film with Rey Skywalker. Shoot me if you don't like me saying that, haters. I'm, as long as they don't jack that up with a bunch of messaging, and W stuff,
yeah.
I might actually see it if it's interesting enough. I mean,
yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, the Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Acolyte, Andor, all those shows are very good. I mean, and they're all on Blu-ray on Etsy or eCrater. I would, obviously, if you have some money and you want to buy them, I would recommend, seeing them. I think they're really good.
Yeah, well, I've only seen it. The only other one I've seen is Andor when I got Obi-Wan. I think I told you I did see Mandalorian a while ago, but it's not there anymore, or at least right now. But yeah, but if I get curious, I might, if they do with Ahsoka, actually, I might do that one.
Oh yeah, Ahsoka's really good. Hayden's in that one too.
Yeah, I know. He actually does a forced ghost to her, apparently, at the end. So.
Yeah, what's funny though with Hayden, when the stuff he's in the Obi-Wan show and the Ahsoka show, I was watching it when it first dropped on Disney Plus, and I literally said this to my dad. I said, Hayden Christensen is literally better in an Ahsoka TV show than he is in the prequels. I know I say it a lot. I love the prequels, but I don't know if it was just better writing. Yeah. A lot, okay? We'll do it next time.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't know if it was better writing or whatever, but I'm like, wow, he gave a really good performance in this show. I was shocked. I'm like, wow, he's good now.
Well, he knows Anakin kind of better.
Yeah, he's older too, but
maybe that's also another thing is maybe he didn't really know the character when he first played him that much. Like, he kind of was just following Lucas's directions, and I'm not saying Lucas is the best dialogue person or whatever, but he's the godfather of this whole franchise, so and I know people are bashing.
Although there's interviews,
all her questionable decisions, even though I don't know if she really makes the decisions or she just signs the checks, but
I think she does both. But I don't know. I don't get the hate for Kathleen. I mean, I know she's kind of a weirdo with her politics, but unless I'm really stupid, I don't think they're really. I mean, there's one woke thing in one show, and it's barely noticeable. Like there really isn't. It's not as bad as what the internet makes it out to be.
Yeah. You're talking about the recent one, I'm assuming.
No, I was talking about Resistance, the animated show, but
no, I haven't seen that one. But I know there's one little scene that I always can time perfectly because it's only brief in Rise of Skywalker. That is W, and I look away just enough so that the screen is still in the corner of my eye so I can see it, but I'm not focused on it. So when I see it change, I can turn back. That way I don't see
do that.
Thing, but it's brief, but I don't want to see it. Okay?
Yeah. That's how I am, because it's like, especially with the Acolyte show, it's like I was talking with another friend, and I'm like, I don't agree with this stuff that they're putting in, but the story that they're telling within the messaging has never gotten that bad in Star Wars yet. Like I said, the internet freaks out about it too much, but the stuff that is in there, very little that it is in there, I don't agree with it, but the story that they're telling within that is solid, especially with the Acolyte so far. And I think, it's hard because I don't agree with it, but I still watch it. It's what, like, I can't change it. It's like, whatever. I don't like it, but who cares?
Well, you do if you don't like it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good point. It's pretty late, okay? It's an oxymoron.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so just to finish off here, I'm looking sort of forward to the new Rey movie, and I know a bunch of people are not, but Rey is not a Mary Sue, and I know people have no idea what that means. That's why they say it.
Yeah. Can I say something about that real quick? Sure. Like, briefly?
Sure. Swimming is not making her Mary Sue, I know.
No. Yeah, so for you who don't know, I'm not hating or trashing anyone, but just for the uninformed, since I'm going to be a teacher, let me teach you something. So the term Mary Sue originates from a very old story back in the day, and it was a term given about a woman who was perfect. That was the story. She was literally perfect, and she died in the end. But besides that, she was perfect. And people that call Rey a Mary Sue, they genuinely don't understand the term, because a Mary Sue, by definition, means a woman who is perfect, as in basically Jesus but a girl. And if a woman were to have one singular flaw, that automatically means she is not a Mary Sue. Yeah. And Rey fails literally over 20 times in that trilogy. She's like constantly failing, and by the time she does her first fail, that term is already flown out the window. Yeah. So people that say that, either they're sexist or they just don't understand storytelling, and that's their scapegoat and their crutch.
Yeah. So, but I don't think of Rey as a Mary Sue, though, and I think of her as a master. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of words.
A well-written character.
Trying to think of words that have the same first two letters in them, but I can't think of
well, any. A mighty
Skywalker.
Super. I don't know.
There we go.
There you go.
She's not a Mary Sue. She's a Master Skywalker, whether you like it or not.
Darn right. Yeah, she's a Jedi Knight too.
Yeah. So,
That's perfect.
But anyway, we're
gonna start wrapping things up. I think we're okay. So thank you guys for sticking with it. If you listen to the whole thing, again, I don't know what gameplay I'm putting. Probably something, but it'll be something. That'll be up, relatively soon. But I had a lot of fun, and we'll have more topics for next time for sure. Yeah. And I'm glad we got to talk about some other stuff we don't really like, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and the Soul stuff and Star Wars. It was fun.
Yeah, and actually, I was gonna talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows apparently, or I think I think I wanted to not re-talk about. What am I talking about? I wanted to just briefly talk about it, but we can talk about that next time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can do that now real quick.
No, it's better for next time because we can start with that,
Okay, look forward to it. All right, we'll do it.
So, anyway,
yeah. Well, hey, make sure to go like both of our videos. As I said, subscribing is, again, very much free, and it takes you, I counted it, 1 second. It's a little button tap, and I had a lot of fun, dude. So I'll have a link for Recon's channel down in the description, and thank you guys for listening and watching.
Yeah, same here, and I'll be putting his link in my description. So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. So. All right, well, anyway, guys, thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, later, folks.